Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Hi, Bullhorn Betty. Thank you for my shirt. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Kids Club.
Her saying that she was at a party, I never knew about that. When my grandkids say, I believe what they say. Just like, yes, I did call CPS October 31st of 2023. If CPS would have listened to me then and pulled these kids out, Janiah would still be here and my grandkids wouldn't have went through the hell that they went through with Jasmine and her girlfriend Kiara.
We are learning about the case of Janiah McMichael, and this is her grandmother. While earlier today on my YouTube channel, I got some details incorrect when it came to her grandmother here. However, throughout this phase, we will be correcting all misinformation or things that we understood incorrectly. I still maintain that many of the people in and around Janiah's life knew of the alleged abuse and stood idly by not assisting until it was too late. Janiah was 13 years old when she disappeared. However, the specific time that she disappeared is unclear. Her family expresses an abrupt end in communication as late back as June 2024, while her mom maintains that she disappeared on August 11th, 2024, and reported her missing on August 12th. Janiah lives in Gary, Indiana, which is riddled with drug and gang activity. I have counted at least 4 SA allegations related to Janiah McMichael, and she's only 13 years old when she disappeared. She has recently turned 14.
I called because my grandkids told me that how they were being abused by Jasmine and Kiara, how they had to wake up early in the morning and stand up like 5, 6 in the morning, stand up military style with their hands behind their back. They only had 7 minutes to eat. All they could eat was sandwiches. When I got them, they couldn't eat really. The food that I was introducing that were all normal to eat, they had diarrhea for months. She only allowed them to drink water. That was it, not even flavored water, because she is in an abusive relationship and they're very controlling. And I have a recording that I am going to share with you from a prior relationship that Kiara was in, that this girl ended up losing her child and they gave her 4 years prison time and she did 2 years and lost her child because Kiara and her mom, they were abusing this child. And she said, when I was explaining everything that was going on, she said it was like deja vu for her. She was crying and she was scared because she said that's the same thing they did to her. So, you know, everybody's seen this abuse since day one. You see my shirt. This is all what I'm about. Find my granddaughter. That's what I'm about. Do I believe Jasmine and Kiara did something to my granddaughter? Yes, I do.
Everybody, important Monday, like it's going out of style. It's nice to see you all this morning, and it took me a little while to scroll to the top because we already have so many people up in here. But I saw who was the first to say good morning to Bullhorn Betty in chat, our beautiful Melanie. Followed by Stephanie. It's nice to see you. Tina, it's nice to have you up in the chat this morning. I'm not sure why my chat thing's not moving. TD Dean, Whispering Winds. It's nice to see you, Dawn. It's nice to see you, Sonia. Good morning. Good morning. Little Orange Man is up in the house. Bullhorn Betty is present. Frank, it's nice to see you. Tina, it's good to see you. And I just want a big shout out to Tina. We're really, really sorry for everything that you're going through, and our hearts bleed with you and your family. And so we just want to send our condolences to you and your family. And I'm really sorry. You know, there's no real good words that could describe the pain and the loss of a loved one. So I'm not going to try to give, a pep talk or anything like that, but I do want to let you know that when our coffee club family hurts, we all hurt. So God bless you and your family. Lisa B. Always, it's nice to see you. Who else do we have up in the house? I know there's more people. Carla, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Lakeith, it's nice to see you. SRK. Rebecca, the real me too. Good morning. Miss Robin, it's nice to see you. Deanna, good morning. And Miss Robin gifting a Bullhorn Buddy membership. If you received your Bullhorn Buddy membership, don't forget to tell Miss Robin thank you. And welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. It is nice, nice, nice. Don't forget to tell Robin thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Stephanie, it's nice to see you. I think I already said hi to you, but second hi from Bullhorn Betty. Jenny, perfect pun. It's nice to see you. Lori, good morning. It's nice to have you here this morning. Lori, I think I just said hi to you. Phil, I see you up in the chat. Good morning, love. Gypsy, good morning. Aw, our beautiful Melanie gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. If you received your gifted Bullhorn, I feel like a freaking one of those people, the auctioneers. If you received your gifted Bullhorn Betty membership, don't forget to tell Melanie thank you. And for those that received your gifted Bullhorn Betty membership, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket and your padded room. Welcome aboard. And I'm hearing we're running a little low on the straitjackets, but we got the padded rooms, okay? We got the padded rooms for your comfort. Oh, good gracious. Peggy, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Cheryl, good morning. Jen from GA, it's nice to see you. Pebbles up in the house. VA, who's your mama? Get lockered, Nan. It's nice to see you, my love. I hope you're doing well. Joanne, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Kathleen, Dawn, good morning. Good morning. Must have got lost. You must be. You're on a Crazy Chicks channel. You must have took a wrong turn somewhere. I'm just saying. Truth in Time, Wheezy Girl, it's nice to see you. Angel, hey love, I hope you're doing well. Christy, good morning. It's nice to see you as well. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Butterflies are free to fly. Oh, I love that name. Ooh, I love it. I love it, love it, love it. I love some of these names. Gigi up 2, Elaine, it's nice to see you. Good morning, love. I hope you're doing well. Cindy, good morning. I think we got just Becky, it's nice to see you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Football mom decided to throw the towel in and become the newest member of this crazy crew we call the Coffee Club. Welcome aboard. Welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room. Welcome to this crazy fam. Chaos Bunny all up in the house. George, it's nice to see you. Passion Flower, good morning. It's nice to see you. Who else do I think we got to the end? Yay! Oh, good gracious. Yay, 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 yay. All right, guys. So we might as well go ahead and dive in. A whole bunch of craziness is going on up in Louisiana. So as you guys can imagine, this is the Bullhorn Betty channel. And if you haven't figured it out, I am. Yes, that's right. Bullhorn Betty. And so we're doing this little segment here of these fugitives on the run. And I think it's very perplexing because how did this happen? So we're going to dive into the most pressing issue in our criminal justice system. And today we're covering a story that's gripped the nation. The daring escape of inmates from the New Orleans Justice Center in New Orleans, Louisiana, right? This all happened on May 16th. The shocking event unfolded at the New Orleans Justices, or Orleans. It says the Orleans Justice Center. But we know it's New Orleans Justice Center. 10 inmates managed to escape the facility by exploiting a hole behind a toilet in their cell. This breach allowed them to access a pipe chase leading to a loading dock, and eventually they scaled a wall and barbed wire fence to freedom. Surveillance footage captured their escape, which went unnoticed until 8:30 in the morning. Yes, that is correct. Nearly 8 hours later. The Orleans Parish Sheriff Susan Hudson attributed the escape to defective locks and acknowledged the possibility of an internal assistance. So they think that somebody inside, one of the officers may have had a hand in the escape of these inmates. She stated it's almost impossible, not completely, but almost impossible for anyone to get out of this facility without help. As of now, 3 of the 10 escapees have been recaptured. That means 7 are still remaining at large, prompting a massive manhunt involving local, state, and federal agencies. The FBI, ATF, and Crime Stoppers have increased the reward to capture these individuals, which was originally $5,000. It has now been doubled to $10,000, and Crime Stoppers has added an additional $10,000 on top of an ATF contribution of $5,000 per inmate. So there is literally $17,000 per fugitive on the table for anybody that knows anything about these escapees. Now, before we get into anything further, I, of course, have a video that I want to play. This is kind of our intro into this. And sorry for the audio. I tried to tone down the one song as much as I could, but it's on a 2 and it's still loud as hell. But I wanted the video.
This jail escape, it happened in the heart of New Orleans.
Well, the search is ongoing for a group of inmates who escaped from a jail in the heart of New Orleans.
Officials say at least 2 inmates have been captured, including Kendall Miles, who was found less than 3 miles away from the jail, hiding beneath a car. Miles is charged with attempted second-degree murder. The other inmates facing charges from murder to aggravated assault. Officials believe someone inside the jail system may have helped the inmates escape. The U.S. Marshals are assisting with the manhunt, and the FBI announced a $5,000 reward for tips leading to the capture of the escapees. These photos released by New Orleans officials show inside the cell where they say 10 men escaped, prompting an intense search. Authorities announcing some of the escapees have been captured. Photos show a dislodged toilet inside one of the cells and the words "too easy" scribbled above, pointing to a hole where the inmates are believed to have escaped. The sheriff says deputies discovered the men were missing during a routine head count.
Based on video surveillance, they were seen exiting a door on the docks where we normally bring in supplies, scaling a wall, and running across the interstate.
The other inmates facing charges from murder to aggravated assault.
We have reason to believe that there was some assistance with this. That's why we're thoroughly investigating. We placed 3 individuals on administrative leave pending the outcome of this investigation.
7 dangerous criminals still on the run, leaving the community on edge.
So there you guys have it. That's kind of the rundown of what is going on in this specific case. The escape has sparked intense political scrutiny. Governor Jeff Landry called the jailbreak the largest in the state's history and criticized the justice system's delay in prosecuting and sentencing. He had ordered an audit of the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office and the Orleans Justice Center. Attorney General Liz Murrell, I think that's the proper pronunciation of her last name, emphasized the priority of recovering the prisoners and protecting the public. She stated, "Our main priority remains recovery of the prisoners, protecting the public, securing and stabilizing the facility staff and building." 3 jail employees have been suspended without pay pending the outcome of an internal investigation. The escape has raised concerns among residents, especially those living near the jail. Authorities have warned the public not to approach the escapees, who are considered armed and dangerous. The fugitives range from ages 19 to 42 and face charges including aggravated assault, domestic abuse, and murder. One of the escapees, Derek Groves, was previously convicted of multiple murders. His escape has caused fear among the victim's family, some of whom have gone into hiding. This is a huge deal, folks. This is a huge deal. The incident underscores the critical need for robust security measures and prompt communication within the correctional facilities. The delayed discovery of the escape and the potential for internal assistance highlights systematic issues that must be addressed. And of course, for anybody that's watching, if you have any information regarding the whereabouts, again, $17,000 per inmate is being up for grabs. So some of those inmates may be together. It might be a good payday for somebody that knows some information. If you have any information regarding the whereabouts of the remaining fugitives, please contact the FBI at fbi.gov/New Orleans fugitives or call Crime Stoppers. Your tips could be instrumental in ensuring the public's safety. So thank you guys for that, for giving me an opportunity to kind of express. I'm going to throw them up on the big screen so you guys can look at their faces. These are the people that are out among us right now, and they are the worst of the worst. We're not getting jaywalkers escaping from jail, okay? We're getting people that don't mind harming me, you, our children, or anybody else that gets in their way. Again, they are considered armed and dangerous. These people are the worst of the worst. If you see any of these individuals out in the public, do not approach them. Get to a safe place and call law enforcement immediately. It doesn't matter where you call. If you see them, just call 911. Explain who they are and tell them that you see one of them wherever you are. These people need to be rounded up and they need to be put behind bars. I personally don't know what happened. I don't know if they had help. I don't know if somebody just unintentionally went out to lunch at the very time that these people were breaking out, or how they would know that these officers would not be watching them when they broke out. I don't know how the noise of trying to break a cell door open didn't get the attention of the staff. I don't know those answers. I know it stinks to high heaven. Clearly, the state of Louisiana believes it stinks to high heaven. But whoever is responsible and whoever helped these people deserve to be right with these people, because if anybody loses their life because of these escapees, you have blood on your hands. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. All right, guys. So now we're going to go ahead and get into a case that we are all too familiar with. And that is the case of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Many of you guys know this case inside and out. However, let's just go over a tidbit of information. But before we do, let me bring you guys all up to speed. For those that are new to this case, have never seen this case, while this is intro video is an older video, I think it provides the clearest explanation of this case in a nutshell. Hey guys, Bullhorn Betty here, giving you breaking daily updates related to the Sebastian Rogers case. This is going to blow your mind, guys. I've been personally covering the case of Sebastian Rogers, a 15-year-old autistic boy that disappeared from Hendersonville, Tennessee. His mother, Katie Proudfoot, and stepfather, Chris Proudfoot, came out and told their stories in this interview about what transpired related to the disappearance of their 15-year-old son. Katie, Sebastian's mother, describes the day before he disappeared, Sunday, February 25th. They went to BJ's, he got a colossal popcorn, he was just a very happy, jovial young man, and they came home, put some snacks away, and then they went to a local bowling alley, and next to the bowling alley was a steakhouse where they ate. After they ate, they loaded up and went home. He took out the garbage, and the rest is history. He goes to bed at 9 p.m. Mom goes to bed at midnight. She awakes at 6 a.m. to wake Sebastian up as she normally does, and he's gone. Christopher Proudfoot states that he was not even in the area at the time that Sebastian left the home, that he was many miles away as he was working in Memphis and staying in his camper in Mississippi. A lot of people watching this case unfold became very, very skeptical of both Katie and Christopher Proudfoot's story about what happened leading up to Sebastian's disappearance. Many people noticed the deep abrasion scratches in some areas looking like bite marks on Christopher Proudfoot's arms some 8 days after Sebastian disappeared. Seth Rogers, which is Sebastian's biological father, decided to start doing some ground searches and raised money on a GoFundMe page to aid those efforts. Christopher Proudfoot threatened Sebastian's father in a lawsuit related to the GoFundMe page and also the fact that Seth appeared to make the family, the other side of the family, look bad. Many people went out searching for Sebastian Rogers, and the one thing that was missing out of all the efforts volunteers put forth was Christopher and Katie Proudfoot. And when people asked them why they weren't out searching for their very son that went missing from their home, they told people that it was because law enforcement told them to stay home. However, that very evening, they were seen at a barbecue joint outside of the home enjoying a dinner. Meanwhile, never once searching for their very son that they say they care about and want to come home. Media was in an uproar, demanding answers from both Katie and Christopher Proudfoot why they're not helping with any searches for their son. And what was their response? They got in their camper, packed it up, and took off. Sebastian's mom and stepfather took off to a campground in Mississippi where they returned home for a short while and then returned back to this campground. Right now, it appears that the camper is still at this mobile home park or RV park with Chris's truck, but we have confirmed Chris is not staying there and has installed a camera on the camper. There are so many people curious as to why there's a camera on this camper but not on their home before Sebastian Rogers walked out that door. The sheriff was very cordial at the beginning of this search for Sebastian when he truly believed both Katie and Chris Proudfoot were deemed innocent and had no culpability in the disappearance of their son. If you look at the newest interview Nick Barris has with this very sheriff, you see a much different demeanor. Does this case anger me? You darn right. Does it make me want to almost lose my mind? You darn tootin'. Chris and Katie have a lot of explaining to do because what I just laid out for you is only a minor, small amount of the case against them. So, as you guys see, that was the Sebastian Rogers case in a nutshell. He disappeared from his home, and he hasn't really been seen since. The disappearance of Sebastian, it's also another case that has gripped this nation. And has not just gripped this nation, but has gripped the international true crime community as well. And this morning, we're going to delve into some details about Sebastian's disappearance and the timeline of events and questions that remain unanswered at this time. I don't know if we're going to find any answers. We're here now 15 months later, and we have not heard or seen Sebastian Rogers. No sightings have panned out. And if you guys recall, Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers was only 15 years old when he disappeared. And not only was he diagnosed with autism, but he was also diagnosed with a rare 6q27 chromosome deletion syndrome. Sebastian was known for his gentle nature and love of gaming. Despite his challenges, he was bright and endearing, according to his teachers. Now, to discuss the timeline a little more in detail, February 22nd, 2024 was the last time Seth, his dad, spoke with him. On February 24th, which was Saturday, him and his mother were seen eating at the food court of Costco's after they were doing some shopping or before they were doing some shopping, but they were at Costco's. If you don't know what Costco's is, it's like a Sam's Club. It's a wholesale food store supplies, but they have a lot more than just food. They have clothing and a whole bunch of other stuff. So they were at Costco's on Saturday. We have a photo of it. It's a well-known photo that we've seen. It's the one that says optimism on it. It appears that there's a bruise on a thumbprint on the Adam's apple of Sebastian. And then we move over to Sunday, and we learn Sunday he had a fun breakfast. He called family to brag. They went and picked up a niece, met some aunts at BJ's Wholesale, which is almost identical to Costco's, which is almost identical to Sam's Club. And then they came home, dropped off the snacks, and were at home for a little while. We don't know how long they were home. And then they left again to go to Strike and Spare. And that's a local bowling alley to them. Now, when they got there, allegedly, there was tournaments going on, and the wait was too long to get a bowling lane. So they ended up playing some video games, and after they had wrapped up with some video games, they ended up going over to dinner at the Texas Roadhouse. They arrived a little bit before 6. They left around 6:22. They pulled out of the drive around 6:25 in the evening, and they proceeded, according to everything that we understand, home. And when they got home, allegedly, Sebastian took out the garbage, and he was in bed by 9 p.m. Around 9:43, Katie rings Chris, and they proceed to stay on the phone from 9:43 until allegedly midnight. Now, I say allegedly midnight because we've known that it was midnight for a really long time. And then all of a sudden, just recently, a Dateline article came out. And that Dateline article basically says that she went to bed at around 11. So we're very, very curious about that. And then the timing of this thud or thump that came out of Sebastian's room has changed. We originally heard it was around 11, then 10:30, and then now it's 10 p.m. Now, on February 26th at around 6 a.m., according to his mother, she awoke and went into his room to wake him up. And when she got there, he was not in his bed. Now, a critical detail has been missing from this case from the very beginning. And that was his bed made or was it messy when she went in there at 6 a.m.? Had he slept in the bed? According to her statement, she says she immediately reached out to Christopher, which was 3.5 hours away in Memphis, working on the St. Jude's project. We heard that they called law enforcement, not 911, but the non-dispatch line of law enforcement at 6:33 in the morning, some 33 minutes later. We also learned in another interview that Katie actually got in her car and drove around the community, or did she? So we have a lot of questions. But despite all of these details, there was a massive and extensive search that was done for Sebastian Rogers, involving drones, helicopter, K9 units. However, no trace of Sebastian has ever been found, even all this time later. Over the past year, the investigation has seen numerous development. The search expanded to the Kentucky landfill, where garbage from Sumner County is disposed of, but no substantial evidence was found that we know of. In November 2024, Dwayne Dog the Bounty Hunter joined search efforts, increasing the rewards to $175,000, pursuing new leads in Oregon and New York. As of now, the reward for information leading to Sebastian's whereabouts stand at an astonishing $500,000. Despite these efforts, the case remains unsolved, leaving the community and the nation yearning for answers. Now, throughout this process, there has been a lot of scrutiny, and that scrutiny has been placed squarely on the mom and stepfather. Public scrutiny has intensified around Sebastian's mother, Katie Proudfoot, and stepfather, Christopher Proudfoot, due to several factors: inconsistent statements, past allegations, behavioral observations, and deception related to who and when lie detector tests were provided. Both have provided varying accounts of events surrounding Sebastian's disappearance, and many people noticed at the beginning of this case that Chris was taking over all of the conversations related to the disappearance of Sebastian Rogers, yet he proclaims over and over and over again that he was 3.5 hours away and was not there when this child disappeared. There have been concerns about child abuse, including reports of locking the refrigerator at night. Now, those have not been substantiated. We also heard that they were putting him in the garage to sleep. Again, not substantiated information in the reports, but what we did hear specifically related to these reports from the father is that the only place he felt safe was at his dad's home. We also learned that in the counseling notes that Sebastian had with his counselor, he questioned why his mother hated him. He outlined a lot of abuse. There were over 4, I'll say to cover my butt. There were over 4 CPS reports that were received by Seth Rogers. I truly believe there were 6 reports, not 5 reports. I believe he had 5 reports in his possession, and the 6th report, because it was open, was not released. So if we will look at it from that lens, we have a lot more than meets the eye. Another allegation that has never been corroborated was the one with the pressure washer. We have observed and have noted quite often throughout our commentary on this case the lack of visible emotion. We've also notated the lack of Chris and Katie even consoling themselves publicly during this difficult time. We've never seen them reach over to reassure one another, touch one another, hold, rub their back, or anything. We have never seen any type of emotion between Chris and Katie or Katie and her son. We have heard no urgency in any public appearance or interviews. Nobody has been demanding outside of Seth for an abductor to release their son, or speaking directly to their son without being prompted. And even when she's prompted, she's not really speaking to him. She's speaking what she would say to him. The polygraph test. Chris stated over a month that he had taken and passed a polygraph. He further stated that law enforcement had cleared him and Katie of any wrongdoing until the truth came out on the Nancy Grace show. These factors have led to widespread speculation and concern among the public. So a lot of this speculation is derived specifically by the statements they've made and the behaviors that they've exhibited. As we mark over a year since Sebastian Rogers vanished, the search continues. Authorities urge anyone with credible information to come forward. And if you have any information, please contact the Sumner County Sheriff's Department or Sheriff's Office at 615-449-4649.
451-3838 or the well-known telephone number of TBI at 800-TBI-FIND. We're here and we have joined the community in wanting to learn more about this case and demanding answers. And where the heck are the public searches? Where the heck are the private searches? Where the heck are the isolated, targeted searches? Where is law enforcement in this case? We don't know. You want to know why we don't know? Because they haven't even bothered telling us squat about Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers in well over a year. They have had no searches. They've produced not one scintilla of information to help locate or find Sebastian. And we have no details. Is this being shoveled under the rug? Because let's face it, in any other domestic issue, missing person, the last person that saw the person that starts acting suspicious typically has a reason to act suspicious. So let's step back in time. Let's go back to the very, very, very beginning. And this is going to be a little different because what we're going to do is we're going to play the first two Duchess interviews. Now, one was on the... give me a second. Here it is. One was on March 3rd, and I believe the other one was on March 17th. So we have 14 days. Excuse me with my hiccups. 14 days between them. And I want you to listen to not just their words. We're going to go over the words because I think it's important that we go over their words. I think it's very, very important that we go over their words because this was the beginning. This is what they told us. This would be the most similar to the statement that they would have told law enforcement at the time. Now, we know law enforcement has had to take notice of the inconsistent statements that they've made. And we definitely know that law enforcement does pay attention to inconsistent statements. It is a major red flag for law enforcement to cue them to pay attention. We know that. I mean, any detective worth their salt on their badge, their name on their badge, knows that inconsistent statements are huge red flags. And when they keep happening over and over and over and over, well, that's going to cost you $5, Outer Banks. I'm just joking. If anybody wants to know what that is, Outer Banks is late. I just thought I'd tell the whole world that Outer Banks is late. Where were you, Outer Banks? Sleeping in? It's a Monday morning. You should be up rocking it out with your coffee beans out. All right. That's okay. We're glad you're here. So we're going to go back to the beginning of this case because I think it's important, because we need to hear what they said. And I know we've heard this stuff so many times, but every single time we go back to the beginning, we get something else out of it. Now, for this one, what are we listening to? We're listening to their sounds, okay? We're listening to what they wanted us to believe in the beginning and what it is 14 days later. What do I mean by that? I want you to listen to their voice. Because a day after this one, Katie gave an interview where they put both of their faces on the screen. And we didn't get the type of emotion that we got from this first one, If it's uncontrollable, it's uncontrollable. How can you cry on this one with no camera, but can't cry on this one with a camera, right? But we're not going to look at the second interview with the WSMV. We're only going to look at the Duchess because I want you to hear their demeanor from one show to another. One, they're trying to get sympathy, and the other, they realize the sympathy tour wasn't working and they're a little more pointed. They're not as emotional as they want you to believe. The first one, they work very hard to try to get that emotional bug. Hold on, let me get back to where it's at. Oh, that's right. She talks so much in this one. Okay.
A little later in the evening, I myself went to bed.
Day that Sebastian went missing. I know that his mom said that he was having a good day. He had had a great weekend. So do you want to walk us through what that looks like again for everybody?
He did have a really good weekend, actually.
You notice how she's trying to cry. She's trying to tremble her voice. You know, this is the very first one. We're going to pop over to the second one in just a second, but I want to get this whole little blurb out of what she says happened so you guys can hear it for yourself in case you guys forget, right? We've listened to so many interviews. We've watched this case go from a missing person into a flippin' circus. Trust me, there's a lot of details we forget that happened early on before it became this hot mess express.
When we come home from having supper that evening, he was playing. When he went to bed, when I told him to go to bed, he said, "I love you, Mama," and he said, "I love you, puppies." A little later in the evening, I myself went to bed, and when I went to wake him up for school, he wasn't here.
See how emotional she's trying to sound? Well, if she was that emotional telling this story this day, she should have been equally emotional telling the story the very next day for WSMV. And we got a completely different demeanor when she was on camera. So that was the first red flag for me.
And you did tell me that Sebastian is not a runner.
He's not.
See? So she's trying to have this sympathetic, guilt-ridden voice. She's wanting people to believe her. But again, the very next day, this didn't bother her as much. The very next day, she was like a stick figure on WSMV. She forgot this emotion she had the day before. I need you guys to remember this because you're going to get a whole different demeanor, whole different sounding Chris and Katie 14 days later.
Okay, take your time.
Sebastian does not have a history of running. The young man doesn't go outside very much. I mean, everybody in the neighborhood knows him. He is very to himself, so to speak. Between the hours of,
Hey,
12
girl,
and
Mom,
6,
it's nice to see you.
he has basically vanished. Walked out of the house, the door was locked and gone.
He didn't take a phone. None of his shoes are missing.
Now, you told me that night now, Chris, you were at work. You were out of town at work,
Yes, ma'am.
so you were not even home.
Correct, ma'am.
And Mom, you fell asleep on the couch about 10 o'clock, but you said that Sebastian went to bed at 9 p.m. And then you got up off the couch and you went to bed, and you said that was around midnight. And nothing was unusual at that point. Everything seemed okay.
There's actually a piece
Let him make something crystal clear.
So to make something very crystal clear, so that way there's transparency across the board. Me and the mom were on the phone at 9:43 or 9:46 in the evening. We stayed on the phone for quite some time. The call logs have been verified by all the police departments, TBI included. We stayed on the phone. It was very lengthy. Mom did slightly start falling asleep while she was on the couch. I had said, hey, you need to wake up, put the dogs up, go to bed. Now, mind you, that was right around midnight, just before midnight or right around midnight.
Mm-hmm.
So there we have him interjecting with the what we dub the script. The script. So you heard Katie. She's all upset. She you know, is really missing her child in that video with Duchess, and just really not in a great place. The very next day she was laughing and giggling on the next interview, which left us all kind of perplexed, you know. What in the world is going on here? Let's see, where was I? So let's hear this 14 days later. Let's see if we have that same grief-stricken voice. You know, are they still missing their child? You know, and I always thought every single one of their interviews have never been about the avocation of Sebastian Rogers. And in my opinion, it's been about the self-preservation of Christopher Proudfoot and Katie Proudfoot. Nothing more, nothing less. It has always been self-preservation. Why do two parents need to be self-preserved so much that they make every single interview about them and what they're going through, never once giving a damn about what Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers may be going through?
Me to talk to me about Sebastian's disappearance. It seems like it's been a rough week. Maybe
she talks.
Just trying to think where, Pat, if you would please you know, over and over.
I understand it is a talk show. I say this every blessed time I have to go through Dutch's stupid interviews. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't like the lady because she doesn't like me. She talks about trying to be nice to people. The lady has never had a conversation with me and has done nothing but trash me when she doesn't even know me. But I digress on that front. But when you have an interview, for those that are watching this, whether I sound like a broken record or not, ask the questions and shut your pie hole. Not to be rude, but to be rude. Because I have all these people that can get these interviews at the beginning, and these are the most important interviews of the case. And when you give them an A, B, and C choice, you're not allowing them to answer the blessed question. You're answering it for them. Let them speak. Let the damn people speak. I know it's hard. Everybody wants to fill every silentness with something. Shh. Shh.
So, we're going to start out with some questions from the panel, and then for your patience. And, you know, we just ask that you show respect, and just, you know, kindness goes a long way.
Kindness does go a long way, Duchess. Maybe you should practice what you preach. Just saying. I don't know you, but you act like you know me.
And we appreciate that. Let me get over here. I'd made myself
10 minutes later
a couple of notes. I hope Sebastian's mom is okay. I know this has been very difficult. Sebastian will be found soon. To keep the billboards up.
Part of this from the start to current.
Y'all are very much appreciated in the chat. You have to know that it means so much to them, because these billboards, and listen, Chris, also, if there is another location that you and Katie would like to have a billboard, you can, you know, let me know, And I'll be happy to get another billboard going if there's a location that you are interested in. You can just things that
likes to build little things.
20 minutes later.
We get the little kid crafts from Lowe's and Home Depot, so he likes to build little things with me.
That's really cool. And you said that Sebastian didn't really have a lot of friends. He didn't really have any friends. He has a couple of friends at school. Do you think it's possible that, and which you told me before you didn't think so, but do you think there's any way possible that he could have met a friend online, either at school or at his father's or at your house? Do you think that's possible in any way?
There's always a possibility. That is a question that.
Did you guys hear that? Listen to Katie's voice.
There's always a possibility.
Did you guys hear that? She didn't have any tears. She wasn't drying her face. She wasn't. I mean, Chris did end up, taking over because he needs to make sure everybody sticks to the script. And this might be something that they had not previously discussed. So now he needs to modify the script.
Possibility. That is a question that I can. There's always a possibility that a child can do something. Now, from my best recollection, mom's best recollection, and the father's best recollection, not that we know of. Our house, as we've stated, it is strict. It stays locked down with that kind of situation.
We use internet time and gaming as like a positive reinforcement rather than a free access.
So you guys see what I'm talking about? The demeanor? She forgot she wanted us to be sympathetic to her and her husband. And so now she's fine, right? She's fine talking about him. 14 days earlier, she wanted us to believe she was this blubbering mess because that's part of the script, right? That was also part of the script. Think about it. She couldn't call law enforcement. She needed Chris to call law enforcement because she was hysterical, right? And that's what she needed us to do, or needed us to believe that very first interview. But then she gets a camera stuck in her face on the second interview and she forgets how to act. She forgets the script. It threw her off. And that's why you have this weird behavior of her laughing when they ask her, about her son. And that was in the WSMV video. The very first thing she did was laugh. So, these are, and I'm trying to show you guys because people say that social media is mean and that all we like to do is come over here and be mean to parents and stuff like that. We're not making them act this way. We're not making them act, like they're this blubbering mess this minute, and the very next day they're put together and okay. And then we get 14 days later, they seem to be matter of fact all of a sudden again. We're not doing that. We're observing that, and we're basing an opinion off of our observations. But whatever you look at, no matter how you look at it, it doesn't look or smell right. It doesn't smell right. And then we add Lauren from Facebook. Love Lauren from Facebook. Let me pull this back just a little. Well, it doesn't really matter because I'm not playing anything. My audio fell again. Not a shock. Right here. And this is actually, I do need it because I want you guys to hear it. Hold on a second. Let me remove this and let me add it back. I want you guys to hear the information. Because what she writes is Sebastian's nightly routines involved, and this is true. And if you don't believe me, go back to all of the interviews that they've had, because this is one of the questions one of the questions we've had since the beginning of this case. Remember, we made a list of all these questions at the very beginning of the case. It was back in the middle of March of 2024. And we've been trying to get those questions answered since the beginning of the case. Yes, have we made some strides to get those answered? And has some of our original questions been answered? Yes, they have. However, this one major question we have been asking for well over a year, 15 months, in fact. Sebastian's nightly routines involved showering and taking medication, but oddly, none of that has ever been mentioned in any version of Katie's summary of what they did the night Sebastian disappeared. And clearly, there is.
So overall, yes, he does much better when he is on a regular routine. And thank you. So like for getting up at about the same time every day and having the same routine to get up and get ready to get out the door, and nighttime routine, taking medicine, taking shower, getting ready for bed.
Taking medicine, taking shower, getting ready for bed. We have been asking, raise your hand if you guys have been following me since the beginning of this case. Raise your hand if you have heard me ask over and over again, what did he do before he went to bed at 9 p.m.? If you've heard me ask those questions, raise your hand. She does sound fine now. Yeah. The longer, it's funny because the only time we ever got emotion out of Katie was that very first interview. That was it. That was the dry run. That was the first and last time we've seen or heard, and we didn't see, we just heard her get emotional, because the very next day they had another interview with mainstream media, WSMV, with Holly Thompson. And that Holly Thompson, what was she doing? She was laughing. She started the flipping interview off laughing. It was a hot mess express. We didn't do that. They did that. We're just observing it. And yes, for people that are in the true crime genre and in true crime community, those are red flags to us. And we're not going to look the other way, especially when they continuously happen over and over and over again, much like the past tense, much like the nasty commentary that they've said about their child, their missing child, their medically needy missing child. Go back to all those interviews. Listen to how they describe Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Tell me that's not odd from a parent. Tell me that's not odd from a parent. It is. It's very odd. In my foot, and my foot. In my summation of, hold on here. In my summation of everything, we're just observing their behaviors. We're just observing their behaviors, and we're opining and providing opinions and speculating on that, because that's what we have to go on. We have a missing child here, and we've got parents that aren't acting right. All right. And everybody always says they're innocent until proven guilty. And I'm going to pull a line from the Deception Detective. Yes, everybody is entitled innocence before guilty in a court of law. And I've said this many times in the past, but not as eloquently as the Deception Detective. So I'm going to say it the way the Deception Detective. I'm not a judge. You're not a jury. And this is not a court of law. We are entitled to our public opinion. We're entitled to a public, public everything, right? So I don't want to hear anymore about somebody coming on my channel and telling me they're innocent in death. Yeah, in a court of law, that they get that when they're arrested. We are not law enforcement. We don't go out and make arrests, but we damn sure judge people. And we damn sure judge people on a public level. When we smell something that doesn't smell right, we call it out. Maybe law enforcement does it. That's not in their wheelhouse. It's in ours. So the parents, the mom and stepfather in the Sebastian Rogers case bother me. They bother me because I don't believe crap that they're saying, and I believe they harmed their child. I believe they harmed their child because nobody has seen him since. It's not because I don't think that there's an alternate theory like this child custody thing. I do believe that, but I also believe no parents would withstand all of this over child custody. That something must have, I use that common sense thing and that problem solving skill. And the way my brain works is it's telling me nobody's going to go through this, all of this, unless something really, really bad happened. So that's why I believe Sebastian is hurt. That's why I believe Sebastian is injured. That's why I believe the way I believe. And then it doesn't help when you have Chris Proudfoot saying they'll never find him again. Then my brain starts kicking in overdrive. And yes, let me stand on my hill. One of my theories is I believe that they dismembered Sebastian. As hard as that is to swallow, I'm not going to sit here and not have an opinion. It was right on the heels after him and Katie had traveled from here, there to everywhere. They weren't even home. We found out that they were over in Mississippi. We found out that they were over in South Carolina going to a motorcycle rally. They were cruising around this country right after Sebastian disappeared. It is a plausible deduction that could be taken, especially with the confidence that was exuded from Christopher Proudfoot when he said that they'll never find him. Didn't we all find it awfully suspect that they're traveling all over the country while everybody is sitting in Hendersonville, Tennessee, looking for their child? If you think it was funny of their traveling, raise your hand. That's one of the reasons why one of my theories is dismemberment. It's because who the hell travels that much when they have a missing kid? And then be so emboldened and confident that nobody is going to find him. Something happened. Something happened, and we don't know what, but we know it's not good. It's not good. And the reason why I wanted to double down on that is I heard it made the hate channel's head spin. I love doing that. I love doing that. All right. This is our last and final segment of this show. And this is related to two beautiful children out of Nova Scotia. Their names are Lilly and Jack. Hold on. There we go. Why isn't this coming up? Should come up. There we go. Lilly and Jack Sullivan out of Nova Scotia, Lansdowne Station. They off of Gairloch Road, Lansdowne Station. They disappeared. Before we go into too much about this case, I'm going to go ahead and play our intro video on this.
The family reported to police early Friday morning, early in the day, around 10 a.m., that the two kids they believed had left the home through a sliding door, which they say is quite silent when it opens and closes. So that's how they believe the children may have left the home. That's what the police have been told. At this point, there has been, again, this ongoing search and rescue operations. Police said they've searched thoroughly 4 kilometers of wooded terrain using GPS and grid searches. But of course, again, with all of these questions that are left on day 6 of this search, questions are starting to circulate around what could have happened to these kids. Could they have met with foul play, unfortunately? Here's what we heard from police when they were asked that question just last hour.
I'm not going to comment on specifics of the investigation. We're going to continue on, and when we get to a point that we've got information that we're able to make any decisions that are able to be public, we'll let you know at that time. But right now, I'm not going to comment on specifics.
Those are the statements related to Lilly and Jack Sullivan, the siblings that are missing out of Nova Scotia, Canada. We haven't heard any more details, but there has been suspicious activity, some inconsistencies in their statement, the infighting between the mom and the stepfather, the mother leaving the area and not returning, And of course, the oddity of where the kids could have gone in the middle of nowhere. And these children disappeared on May 2nd, 2025, and have not been seen or heard from since. Now, Lillian Sullivan is 6 years old. She has shoulder-length, light brown hair with bangs, possibly wearing a pink sweater, pink pants, and pink boots. We also learned she has a white backpack with strawberries on it as well. Jack Sullivan, he's 4 years old, blonde hair, and was last seen wearing blue dinosaur boots. And again, they disappeared around May 2nd. According to these dispatch communications between officers and headquarters, was pretty enlightening. They said on multiple occasions that the parents had last seen these two children in their bedroom at 8 a.m. in the morning. And so many people are scratching their heads wondering why it took until almost 10 o'clock before law enforcement was called. We're also learning right now that there are some allegations that there was a house party shortly before, a day or two before these children disappeared. And most notably in this whole grand scheme of things is the backyard. So this is the backyard, as you guys can see. And up here, you guys see the sliding glass doors. Now, why is this important? It's because these parents are saying, one, that they were sleeping and had not seen or heard their children until they realized they were missing. And they had to have come out this sliding glass door, and this sliding glass door doesn't make a sound. Now, based upon everything I'm kind of seeing here, I don't believe this sliding glass door is as nice and light and sound free as they would like to make it out to be. But this would have been the area that they believe that the two kids would have left the house through this noiseless door and came out here to this area. Now, one thing that you notice is this fencing. You have all of this fencing here. They're trying to imply that a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old climbed over all of this to get out of this area. And they did this in a matter of 20 minutes. God bless each and every one of you. We will see you soon.
Exactly, VA. So, as you guys know, these children, they disappeared on May 2nd, 2025, a quiet morning in a rural community of Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia, and turned into a nightmare. Two young siblings, 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan, vanished from their home without a trace. What followed was the most extensive search operations in the province history, capturing national and international attention and leaving a community desperate for answers. Lily and Jack lived with their mother, Malehya, and their stepfather, Daniel, and their 16-month-old little sister, Meadow, in a mobile home on Garlick Road. According to Martell, which is the father, or the stepfather rather, the children were last seen playing in the house while he and Malehya, I don't know why I mess her name up so much, Malehya were in the bedroom with the baby. Daniel believes the children slipped through the sliding back door, as he described, was silent to hear when it was sliding. They must have opened it. The boots were right there beside the door, and they proceeded to, I'm guessing, play outside. They must have gotten out through the back fence, and they were gone. Now, I have to think that these children were used to playing outside and knew not to go outside of the gate, first and foremost. This has got most likely not the first time that they've not been seen with both parents being, substance abuse addicts. Upon realizing the children were missing, Daniel says he immediately began searching the area by car and on foot before contacting the authorities. And we have to realize that that's also an inconsistency, because Daniel's saying on one hand that he went and searched. He searched the area by car and by foot before contacting the authorities. However, Malehya, on the other hand, says that she immediately contacted authorities. A lot of similarities, excuse me, similar to the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case. The Royal Canadian Police launched a massive search operation, enlisted over 160 trained volunteers, canine units, drones, helicopters to scour the dense forest surrounding the Sullivan home. The search covered approximately 5.5 square kilometers. Okay, I said like 5,500 kilometers. I'm glad I fixed that on this one. So it's 5.5 square kilometers of rugged terrain. Despite the extensive efforts, no evidence was found either of either child. There were no articles of clothing, no boots, no backpack that Lilly was said to have left with. A boot print believed to belonging to one of the children was discovered early in the search, but did not lead to any breakthroughs. And Sergeant Curtis McKinnon says, we're exploring all avenues in the missing persons investigation. We have officers from multiple disciplines dedicated to finding Lilly and Jack, including highly trained RCMP major crime and forensic investigators. As the search continues, attention turns to the family dynamics. Daniel, the children's stepfather, has been vocal in the media expressing his belief the children were kidnapped, although law enforcement has adamantly stated that there's no evidence leading to that realization of them being kidnapped, and therefore is why they have not did an Amber Alert. They have not initiated an Amber Alert. He stated that he's fully cooperated with the investigation, providing his phone to authorities and requesting a lie detector and drug test to clear his name. So he's asked for a drug test as well. Daniel says, they asked me everything. I gave them all the information. I gave them my phone. I asked for a lie detector test. I've asked for a drug test. I've done everything. However, RCMP has indicated that there is no evidence to support the theory of abduction at this time. Complicating matters, Malehya left the area with their infant daughter shortly after the disappearance, reportedly cutting off contact with Daniel. Family members have stated that police advised them against speaking to the media. And I have to say, if that's the case, why is Daniel speaking out to the media? But Malehya, the mother of these children, now remember, Daniel is not their father, and Malehya is gone. She's gone like the wind, with her two babies missing. I don't know of any normal mother that would flee. Flee to me is guilty knowledge, guilty conscience. And there were some people, and this is what really kind of bothers me a little bit. Her tears will come and I know it's sad. It's sad when they get caught, and then their tears come, but they can't cry for their own kid. I get it. But then you've got this situation where some people online are saying, well, maybe the Department of Children and Family Services told her to take her child away from there, or they're going to take her. Well, it's my understanding that the Department of Children and Family Services in Canada have Meadow anyways. So that doesn't make sense to me. But moreover, why couldn't she give her daughter to her mother, have her mother leave and stay there while they're searching for their other children? For her to leave and never return is the problem I'm having. If she needed to leave for an evening and go out and get things situated for her daughter Meadow so she could return and figure out how the commuting and everything else is going to handle, I can understand that. I'm completely understanding of that. But it's been weeks and she has not reported back to that area that I can find. She hasn't reported back to the area that I can find. And so somebody had sent me this from the Deception Detective. And I really like the explanation here. And so I think I got it in the right spot. Let me back up just a tad bit on this one, just to be on the safe side. But I think it's right here.
Yeah, the way that the pause and resumption in the search has. If you've binged all my videos in this series, you'll know I was very excited when Daniel Martell said this, but I haven't heard anything about it since.
You said they're flying in someone to do a polygraph test. Is that on you?
That's not just on me, but on everyone. That's what I asked for.
And this is going to be something that's pretty interesting, because when I heard this whole situation about them having to fly in the polygraph, I was thinking they don't have polygraph people in Canada. It must be a tool that they don't utilize for, whatever reason. So when I saw the deception detective, which again, one of our audience members sent this segment to me, it perked my curiosity because of this statement from the deception detective.
I asked for that so early on, and there's not many places that do it in Canada, so they're flying somebody in.
Why do you think you need to do that? Do you think they don't believe you?
I think their side of the family doesn't believe me, and I just want to clear it up for everyone. Clear it up for everyone, not just the people online making crazy accusations.
The fact that Daniel offered to do a polygraph is great on its own, because while polygraphs are fallible, I've explained my many issues with them in multiple videos. It could give police more data to work with. But what really jumped out to me when I first heard this was Daniel saying that the polygrapher had to be flown in because there aren't many in Canada, which doesn't make much sense if you're talking about a standard polygraph, because all you need is one polygrapher to administer it, and there's plenty of those in Canada. So
that is, and I don't know any, I'm not, none the wiser that they don't have polygraphers there, but according to the deception detective, he looked into it and they've got plenty. So Daniel's like, well, they don't really have polygraph, administrators here, which I found a little odd. But according to the deception detective, they have plenty of polygraph administrators, polygamy. Is that where polygamy comes from? They couldn't pass a polygraph. I'm just joking. It's okay. I know it's kind of like. What do you do? So the disappearance of Lilly and Jack has deeply affected the local community and beyond. The children are members of the I can't pronounce it. The First Nation. Their case has been prompted. I don't know why I can never say the name of the Indian nation there, but I just can't. This prompted discussion of the effectiveness of alerts for missing Indigenous children. Despite scaling back the physical search, the RCMP continues to investigate, following up on over 180 tips from the public. The case remains open, with authorities urging anyone with any information to please come forward. They're still looking to find out what's going on. As we reach the end of this particular episode, we got a few other things to look at and read through. We want to keep them in our thoughts and prayers, and we absolutely want to try to find some information to help in their case, help move the needle. And so many of you guys know I spoke not yesterday, but the day before yesterday, about starting our speculation station theory on the two siblings in Nova Scotia. It's just, where we start just speculating and theorizing and looking at the maps and seeing if what we can find. I got to tell you, even trying to find the lakes as any types of bodies of water around them, I really do believe that that's a clue, because Daniel had made mention that while he was searching for them, he was up to his waist in water. And, I've searched for many people. And the only time I would ever go walking through water or a lake or a pond or anything is if there's evidence supporting that there's a possibility, if there's footprints, if there's skid marks, if there's, something going into that body of water. So for me, it's a little weird that he's splashing around bodies of water up to his waist if there's no evidence that they could be in that body of water. So I think that is a critical clue, and we need to locate all the bodies of water. I actually found one that I think is very, very interesting and close to what I'm looking for, but I can't get eyes on it. I'm not there. I'm not going there. I'll advocate for these children, but we're not going to be doing ground searches for these children. What I would like to do is start getting some crews together for ground searches for Sebastian Wayne Rogers case. That's what I would really, really like to do, because that's one that we need to have the information. Now we're going to go over a little bit about the timeline here when it comes to these children, because I think there's some information that can be in the timeline. They disappeared on May 2nd. It's similar to Sebastian Wayne Rogers case, where the call came in to law enforcement and the cavalry showed up, right? I have to think that law enforcement felt something wasn't right, because they got the Canadian Mounted Police, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, criminal and forensic unit in without anybody knowing about it by May 3rd. I didn't realize this, but nobody knew that this crime and investigation unit, which is from what I'm understanding, a very good outfit for investigations, they were on the scene on May 3rd and nobody was aware of it. So that tells me right there that law enforcement felt some type of way about the statements that they were receiving from Malehya as well as Daniel. So they're going to be exploring this. Now we're here. Oh, this is another thing I wanted to point out, and I pointed out on Saturday, is the fact that I'm angry with Sumner County because there's no targeted searches. There's every case that we cover, when they scale back the searches, when they start getting data in, they start putting that data on maps and start going out and looking in certain areas. We haven't heard anything like that for Sebastian Wayne Rogers. Here we have the Royal Canadian Mounted Police saying they're scaling back the investigation, that they're going to an investigative side. And what happens? They immediately start doing targeted searches for these children. They never stop the search efforts for these children. Still to this day, the freaking law enforcement is out there in the woods searching for these blessed children. Thank God. But where the hell is Sumner County for Sebastian Wayne Rogers? They put their tail between their legs and they've ran off. Where's the targeted searches for Sebastian Wayne Rogers? Where are they? That's kind of my message right now. Where the hell are they? And not only that, not only are they out there searching, after they scaled back the search has intensified. And now they're wanting to know, there's rumor has it that somebody might be talking, because many people believe that somebody's talking in the background. Is it possible that they had this house party? Is it possible one of those party goers are speaking? Is it possible Malehya may be speaking? Is it possible Daniel may be speaking? But it sounds like even after they scaled back the targeted searches, which when we heard those, let's be honest, when we heard those statements from the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, we were thinking, great, another Sebastian Rogers, right? We were all thinking, oh my gosh, this is it. They're going to stop searching, because that's what we saw in the Sebastian Rogers case. And like I told you, in the Sebastian Rogers case, I've never seen a case like that. That is the most poor, it's failed leadership. Failed leadership. The whole damn county is riddled with failed leadership. If you're from Sumner County, vote differently, please. Do yourself a favor. Vote differently. Get better leadership. You deserve all the money you guys are paying in taxes in Sumner County. You deserve the best leadership you can get. You deserve that. You should demand that. But this is making people question who's speaking, because the search was called off. Yet we have intensive searches going on all through the weekend. All through the weekend. Sebastian's worth that too. Why isn't he getting that level of service? Why isn't he getting that level of service? Because it sounds to me like the Royal Canadian Mounted Police and their alphabet soup out there in Canada doesn't sound like they're giving up. It sounds like they're forging forward for the sake of the children that are missing in their community. Where the hell's Sumner County? We should be asking those questions. We should be demanding Sumner counties to answer those questions. Where are they? Why no targeted searches? What I'd like to see happen is I'd like to see targeted searches based upon the data that they've received back. And if they haven't received any data back, they better be getting on the horn and start greasing the wheels that they need to grease to get their evidence in their hot little hands. They shouldn't be having some crazy YouTuber from Florida telling them how to do their job. I'm sure I don't need to tell them how to do their job. But I'd like to know why we haven't had targeted searches. And I think it all is going to stem down to they broke. Why would Sumner County be broke? Mismanagement. Poor leadership. It's time for a change. It's time for Sumner County to have their own independence. And I pray to God that they get it. But each and every voter out there, quit going for the ones that are able to fill up your box with the most little cards. Those are the ones that are backed by the high power people you don't want them backed by. Listen to your candidates. Who resonates with you the most? Do your job as a citizen. Vote for the best politician for your community. Because we all have to deal with the decisions of your poor voting. Just saying. Not playing. All right, guys, that's what we have. I just want to go through this just one more time. Oh, good gracious. You guys are filling me up with all the love today. Robin gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. Melanie gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. Stephanie, whoa, good gracious, y'all. Gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. Robin gifted a couple more Bullhorn Betty memberships. And we've got Football Mom as the newest member of the coffee club. For all the people that got your memberships, your gifted memberships, please tell those respected people thank you for your membership. And welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straight jacket and your padded room. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. And girl, Mom, it's nice to see you, my love. I found out this weekend that a citizen in Tennessee can present a case to the grand jury. Well, that's interesting. I know you can act pro se, but to present a case to the grand jury, huh? That is interesting. Send me something. bullhornbetty@gmail.com. Send me something. I'd like to read that. That's interesting. And Edgar Parade. Maybe that's what we need to do. Maybe we'll file our parade our parade application in Sumner County. We'll do our parade route. We'll do a parade route. I don't know. I feel like we need to do something. We need to bring some attention back to we need to bring some what happened? What is this? Hey, Stillwaters, it's nice to see you. Let me get back up here and see what all said here. Hold on a second. I know we need the Canadian police to come search for Sebastian. Hey, me and you. It's nice to see you. Also, at the photo were where the children are in front of the Christmas tree. At the background there are piles with clothes. Sounds like Fat Lip's house. Let's see. I know he ran unopposed. And that's, you know what? If he's so good, why does he need to run unopposed, right? He didn't even have to, like, come on, people. Come on. I would have done write-ins. That's bull. I'd have done write-ins. Go, Seth, grand jury. Yes, Seth should do that. Huh, interesting. I'd be interested in learning a little more about that. I'd like to read that. Sebastian's army has to demand answers. I agree with that. I agree with that. So we're going to have to figure out something when it comes to Sebastian's case and what we're going to do as a group and a team. But if we're going to do something and it's going to be, you know, big, it's you guys are going to have to kind of step up to the plate and come out there. You know, we're going to have to make signs. We're going to have to do some things. We need about 20, 30, 40, 50 people. And we could do something that's going to be very impactful. And that's what we need. We need something that's very impactful. So maybe start sending me some emails and tell me when you guys would be, when it's easier for you for work, because I'll need you guys for at least a day. So if you guys can tell me what part of the year it's easier for you to get off work, if we can get a bunch of people that can get off work at the same time, maybe we'll do an event at the Sumner County Sheriff all the way up to the courthouse if we can get enough people involved. And that would be enough to make a very good impact, you know, for Sebastian. But it has to be above board. It has to be clean. You know, and trust me, if you've ever been out there, I keep you guys in line. If you guys step off the frickin' and get into the road, you're going to hear me screaming at you. Get off the road! Right? Trust me, I keep you guys in line. I keep you guys in line. So anyways, guys, we'll figure something out up in, you know, in the near future. Hey, Shadow, it's nice to see you. We'll figure something out in the near future and we'll organize something. We'll give law enforcement, you know, about another month or two to, you know, get their shit together and get a real, you know, update. We're not asking. I don't think the community at large is asking for information that goes to the integrity of the investigation. We just want to know that there's still an investigation going on, you know? And I don't think that Sumner County is satisfying the needs of the community. Just saying, my opinion. All right, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another. God bless you. Have a great Monday. We'll see you soon. From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work, we will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you, God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims.